on 12 News. A school day at Cooper turns into a Friday full of high fives. Plus, something else cool at school, Brooklyn Center High becomes the location for a movie production. But first, road crews dealing with snow and preparing for more still to come. 12 News starts right now. The hassle factor rose to about a 10 as snow fell during the morning commute.
It made slippery road conditions, but Hennepin County crews were out in full force trying to tackle the problem. Delane Cleveland tagged along with one local crew and has more.
During a winter in Minnesota, it's a virtual guarantee that at some point, snow will disrupt your ability to get from point A to point B.
With all these snows like this, we stay busy.
That's where people such as Carrie McDougal come in handy.
We are plowing the snow. It's lovely white stuff that's coming down.
She is one of 65 drivers based out of Hennepin County's road plowing station in Osseo who came in at 3 a.m. to help make driving conditions safer.
It's a long day. It makes for a long day because traffic and overhead lines, just pedestrians, everything. It's just stressful.
Her route includes roughly 180 miles spanning across Brooklyn Park, Osseo, and Maple Grove, which is why she drives alongside two other trucks to cover as much ground as possible.
We try to keep the roads open as best as possible, but we got a lot of lane miles and can't be everywhere at once.
McDougal says that the timing of today's snowfall right before the morning rush hour didn't exactly do her crew any favors.
The snow doesn't cooperate and sometimes traffic doesn't cooperate.
Ideally, traffic behind the crews wouldn't follow too closely.
Just give us a little room. Stay back.
Especially considering that the trucks occasionally have to sneak into the middle of an intersection to clear the accumulated snow. So next time you see a convoy of plows on the road, McDougal has a few words of wisdom to share to make her job and your drive easier.
I know that we're in your way, but we're just trying to do our job and make the road safe, because I'd like to see you get home, but I'd also like to get home myself.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
And watch where you park. Crystal, Plymouth, and Robbinsdale have declared snow emergencies. The Northwest Metro ended up on the high end of snowfall totals in the Twin Cities. That's according to Steve Reckers, who collects snow and rain totals for the National Weather Service. Friday morning, he measured just over 4 inches of snow from his home in New Hope. He says this month's steady snowfall is helping replenish dry lakes, wetlands, marshes, and streams. It doesn't do much for soil, however, since the ground is still frozen.
In other news, a death investigation is underway after a body was found in a vehicle towed away from a Brooklyn Park apartment complex. The vehicle was taken to an impound lot in Columbia Heights, and a week had passed before the body was discovered. Authorities say the person found was an 18-year-old woman from St. Paul. As we went to air, the victim's name or the cause of death had not been released pending an autopsy results.
It turns out a man who was shot twice in Brooklyn Park ends up being the one facing felony charges. According to the criminal complaint, Chase Dent Wells had gone to his ex-girlfriend's home at around 4 in the morning and attempted to get inside the home. Dent Wells was then shot twice by the woman's father after pointing a gun at him. Dent Wells has a criminal past and was not allowed to have a firearm. It's unclear if the father will face charges for gun possession. Like Dent Wells, he too has a criminal history. A recent fight at South High School in Minneapolis brought attention to bullying that happens across cultural lines.
But 2 local production crews are already addressing that issue through a movie they are shooting right now in Brooklyn Center.
Yeah, I would just roll on any B-roll you can.
Students at Brooklyn Center High School Friday
Just locked in.
went to second lunch
Shoot away.
and found themselves
See, locked and loaded here.
on a movie set.
I need to know who we can film up close and who we can't.
For the past month, 2 production crews have been using the high school
We'd go to cutaways and close-ups of kids and we bounce into Benjamin.
as a set for a movie about bullying.
It's a cultural story. It's a drama that is loosely based on some stories that our producer has kind of shared with us about their experiences from moving from Africa to the United States.
The movie is called Boys Cry, and it's about an African student who is bullied at school.
It's very raw and it'll keep your attention, definitely, and I think that it It shows behind the scenes on what the adults may not see, but what the kids see.
For many crew members, this project will be a labor of love. They've put in nights and weekends working to shed light on what they feel is an important social issue.
We wanted it to be a community-based project.
Production crews enlisted the help of the school district and the Brooklyn Center Police Department to help tell the story.
It's not just our school district, it's a nationwide thing where cyberbullying, all these different ways of social media now, and we are trying to be all over it. So this was just another avenue to help get the word out.
They do a really nice job of giving youth voice and then also giving them a platform, if you will, to be able to make different choices.
The movie makers want the movie to come full circle, and that someday it might be shown in schools to influence change.
One of our goals, though, is to show it in schools. We want this to be a tool to open up a dialogue about bullying and to help further the cause.
Production crews hope to wrap the movie this weekend and have it ready for release by late summer. Meanwhile, Brooklyn Center schools have a committee to fight bullying and a no-tolerance bullying policy.
In high school halls, the high fives often go to the athletes, but at Cooper High School, the high praise was for academics. It was high fives and celebration at an all-school academic pep fest on Friday. Nearly 650 Cooper students were called out for earning a grade point average of 3.0 or higher. New Hope Mayor Kathy Hempkin and Golden Valley Mayor Shep Harris were among the guests helping to celebrate the students' accomplishments. The number of students on the honor roll has climbed from last year, and this academic pep fest provides good encouragement for all of the school's 1,900 students.
If they don't have any other reason to do well, you know, for example, maybe they just don't have someone at home or, you know, someone in the community that's helping them, it's another motivation for them to do well.
I think that this Pep Fest, getting us all together as a family, it really is what encourages and motivates the school as a whole to be the best that they can possibly be.
For their achievements, the honor roll students get a t-shirt and gift certificates. Coming up, they are considered the Oscar Awards for the culinary world, and several local chefs are in the running.
Plus, a local theater group puts a new twist on the classic Ugly Duckling story. And then later in sports, the puck drops for playoff action for several local boys hockey teams.
But first, we are not done with snow yet. More is expected Sunday into Monday.
It is Oscar weekend, but it's also the time of year for Lights, Camera, Taste.
It's the annual James Beard Awards for restaurants, and several local chefs continue to generate critical acclaim. Mike Brown, James Winberg, and Bob Gherkin of Travail Kitchen and Amusements in Robbinsdale are semifinalists for Best Chef of the Midwest. Brown and Winberg were also semifinalists last year. Finalists will be announced on March 18th. And we should also mention that several Twin Cities restaurants are up for national honors, and they include Butcher and the Boar in Minneapolis, nominated for Best New Restaurant, and Lucia's in Minneapolis for Outstanding Restaurant. Well, long before movie producers tackled the subject of bullying, there was the story of the Ugly Duckling.
Yes, the Hans Christian Andersen classic is about a bird who is scorned for the way he looks. In Weekend Showcase, Renee Bonneau shows you how a local theater group retells the tale with a musical twist.
For those of you familiar with the story The Ugly Duckling, chances are you've never heard it like this.
There's a turkey with a gobble, see his waddle start to waddle.
That's because this is Honk, which is based on the old tale and given a vibrant reboot.
So much going on, there's so much humor, silliness, wonderful songs.
But there's much more to this heartfelt musical.
It's got a lot of messages to do with today.
You're not like your brothers and sisters. And you're different.
We don't hit you over the head with it, but the story of the Ugly Duckling has such issues as bullying and runaways.
You'll catch an important act off stage too. It's one you'll find at every show put on by Cross Community Players. That's because the theater group was established to help local nonprofits like Seep and Cross.
We do perform and we do give some of the profits to the Cross food shelves, but we do ask people to bring in and donate food shelf items, non-perishable items, and then we collect them and we donate those to the food shelf as well.
Honk features 19 actors of all ages and is suitable for audiences of all ages. While it doesn't quite follow the storyline of the classic, the cast and crew say Ugly's discovery of love and acceptance will not disappoint.
You should come see the show. You're going to love it.
For Weekend Showcase, I'm Renee Bonneau.
And you can catch Honk this weekend and next weekend at Crosswinds Church in Maple Grove. Tickets are $13, $10 for children and students. For showtimes and other information, go to crossplayers.org. Coming up, Got Game. We're not talking about that kind of game. A local event sure to test your palate with a menu of wild game.
But first, coming up in sports, the Maple Grove boys hockey team looks to put a stressful regular season behind them as the playoffs begin. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
Welcome back. John's here talking about Wayzata boys hockey. They really want to wipe the slate clean going into playoffs.
Yeah, a little rough patch is down the stretch, but yeah, they're playing well. They played well in their first playoff game last night. After moving all the way up to #1 on the state rankings at mid-season, the young Wayzata boys hockey team did hit some rough patches down the stretch of the regular season. The Trojans are eager to forget all that and make a playoff run of their own in the section tournament. Wayzata hosting Hopkins in the 6AA quarterfinals. Chase Heising skates into the slot and fires a shot past Sam Dalton for a 1-0 Wayzata lead. 5 minutes later, Matthew Freitag to Jalen Wall, who backhands a shot past Dalton for the Trojans' second goal. Wayzata nets 4 in the first period on their way to an 8-2 win. They play Minnetonka Saturday night in Bloomington. Also in 6AA, number 8 seed Armstrong playing top seed Benilde. Dan Lebowski the shot, and number 12 Grant Bessie buries the loose puck on the rebound to make it 1-0 Benilde just 25 seconds into the game. Second period, Lebowski sets up Bessie for his third goal of the night, and it's 3-0 Red Knights. Seth Chumley ahead to TJ Moore, who falls down and still manages to tuck it in for a 4-0 Benilde lead. Third period, Moore shoots. Spencer Nas pops in the rebound to make it 6-0 Red Knights. They breeze to a 9-0 win. They'll face Eden Prairie in the semifinals Saturday afternoon. Providence Academy is the number 5 seed in Section 2A hockey. The Lions fans are ready to face 4th seed Orono. Providence strikes early in this one. Bobby Ladavala's shot wide. Ryan Tapany scores on the rebound. It's 1-0. Later in the first, Michael Cassette's shot hits traffic. Parker DeRozier scores. 2-0 Lions after 1. Orono plays a strong second period. Joey Lutke floating the long pass. Silas Cleveland scores in the breakaway. And the Spartans tied up at 3-3. And they go back ahead. Nick Schroeder coming from behind the net to score. Orono's Armstrong connection behind the bench lights that. But Providence ties it up and then wins it here. Lotville's shot getting past the screen goalie, and that is the game winner. Providence moves on. They take it 5-4. After a tumultuous regular season marked by player suspensions for an off-ice incident, the Maple Grove boys hockey team is glad to be back about thinking about hockey. Jay Wilcox reports.
It's certainly been a different kind of season for Maple Grove, but the Crimson players have tried to put it all behind them.
Yeah, I think especially some of the guys that weren't here, it really made them appreciate playing hockey, being on this rink, and it gives them a little bit of extra fire to go out and show people what they're made of and really take pride in everything that they do, and especially whenever they're on their ice, so just cherish every moment because you don't really know how long you have.
The Crimson won their first ever section title last season, routing nemesis Blaine in the 5AA final. Playoff time brings back good memories.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's really exciting, getting into sections, and you're always looking forward to playing at the Coliseum. It's where memories are made,
Though it hasn't been all smooth sailing on the ice either, Maple Grove is playing well down the stretch, and they beat top seed Blaine 7-5 just over a week ago.
We always thought that we were a young team, so it was going to take a long time to develop, and I think we're finally hitting our stride at the end of the year.
As for Coach Gary Stefano, he admits it's been a tough year.
Gotten more gray hair, I guess. Doing this so long, you always have your ups and downs. I'm not going to lie. I'm a straight shooter, and there's no doubt it's been tough, without a doubt. As a coach, I love to show up to the rink and hope our kids, behave on and off the ice. And every year you have little, bumps you got to get through, and there's no doubt. with the media coverage, with what we've gone through. It's been a tough 4 weeks, but I've survived, and I feel good about myself, how things were handled, and we're ready to move on.
Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
Maple Grove plays Irondale in the section quarterfinals at 8 o'clock Saturday at the Ice Forum in Champlin. The Blake girls hockey team is aiming for a 4th state championship this weekend. The Bears skated into the Class A final earlier today. Blake facing Red Wing in the semifinals. Second period, Blake's Alex Lovis passing to Danny Cameronese for a 2-1 Bears lead. Red Wing later ties it up. Caitlin Hadler beating Bears goalie Tori Johnson and makes it 3-3. Blake leads 4-3 after 2. Third period, the Bears' Carly Lund skating down the right wing, goes high with a shot for the goal. It's a hat trick for Lund to make it 5-3 Bears. Blake wins 6-3, and they'll play Warroad for the Class A title Saturday at noon. And that's a look at sports for today.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, would you be willing to try frog legs or maybe turtle soup?
Plenty did at this year's Wild Game Dinner, and it got crazier than that. When we come back, the exotic menu that raises money for charity. And finally, the menu is wild game, and we're talking about python, camel, and kangaroo.
The dishes are exotic enough to draw a crowd and raise money for a worthy cause. Would you be willing to try a little corned yak and cabbage? Well, a sold-out crowd of more than 300 adventurous souls sampled the fare at the Wild Game Dinner put on by the Brooklyn Park Rotary Club. It's an annual fundraiser held at Edinburgh, USA that raises money for community organizations. This year's samplings included beer-battered frog legs and Dewey-style sausage made with alligator and python, and a Middle Eastern dish made with ground camel meat. And yes, the chef at Edinburgh enjoys coming up with the menu for this event.
It's wonderful to be able to work out of the box, and most of the game meat is a little bit stronger in flavor than what people are used to. You know, it's not your average chicken or beef. So you need to spice and use cooking methods that are appropriate to make everything taste great.
And listen to this, you guys. The event raises $30,000. Every penny of that is donated back into the community for things like homeless youth and the SEEP food shelter. So.
Sure. So I guess you really have to go out there if you're hosting a dinner.
You do.
You really have to.
You have to sample.
Walk on the wild
and
side.
Get a good crowd. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Community Corner is up next. Have a good weekend.